Hey there, boys and girls. This is Rick. Welcome back for another episode. Today's episode is what are we doing in the barn? I've got an 1800s built post and beam barn, all hand hewn beams. It's in need of restoration. I've been waiting 20 years to do this, and I finally got around to doing it. So what I've been doing over the last few weeks is cleaning it out and gutting it. I'm going to strip it right down to the frame. I've had to remove some lofts and interior partitions. There's a wooden floor that I'll get ripped up as well. And then I have a crew coming in. They're going to straighten out the barn, jack it up, and then we'll pour a slab under it and set it back down. And then what I'll do is I'll put a wooden floor over the slab so it still has the original look, but it'll be far better than a wooden floor on dirt like I have right now. So without further ado, let's take a tour of the barn. All right, so before we go in the barn, I just wanted to show you this sign. We've been in this house for 20 years and never knew this sign was in the barn. It was stored under some boards up in the loft in the corner of the barn. Never knew it was there. Then we started throwing out all the boards, and this was under about quarter of an inch or half an inch of dust and dirt and bat droppings and everything else. So I brushed it off and found that. So it's a nice, interesting find. That's going to be hung up either inside the barn when the barn's done, or it'll go on my screened porch / breezeway. Not sure where it's going to go, but it'll go in one of those two spots. So now we'll head into the barn. Here's the old timer here. And as you can see, you can probably see in the video, it's leaning. So that's the first thing the crew's going to do when they get in here, straighten it out. It's an old English barn. English barns have the doors under the eaves, and that does not work well in northern New England because the snow piles up too high and blocks those doors. So the early settlers quickly discovered that didn't work in the winter time. So they switched to what's known as the New England barn, which has the doors at the gable ends, so it's easier to get in and out of the barn in the winter time. So here we are coming in. So this right up here is where call it the bridge loft was. This is the original original loft. And here, and then there was a rickety old little loft right there. And then somebody built, probably 30 or 40 years ago, built the bridge loft right there. But I wanted that out because it was too low. It was only about a 6-foot headroom. And it made it difficult to get the tractor in and out. I had to put the ROPS down to get the tractor in and out. So what I'm going to do is put a taller door in, similar to the original door. The original door went up to that header up there. I don't know if I'll go that tall, but I'm going to go taller than what I have right now. And the front of this had a sliding door. Front of the barn had a sliding door that just didn't work in the winter time. So I built those bifold doors as a temporary fix, which helped a lot. They swing inward instead of trying to swing out into the snow or slide through the snow. So that was a big help. What I'm going to do is build another sliding door, but it's going to slide on the inside of the barn, so it's not in the snow and ice, and it'll work properly in the winter time. The height will be similar to this door. That's probably about 9 or 10 feet high. I'll do the same thing on these doors. I'm going to remove those swinging doors and put in a sliding door that should slide probably over that way. So I don't know how much you can see here. It's pretty dark in here. There's really no light except for that floodlight up there. But I started ripping up the wooden floor. Here's what I have for a floor. And I already ripped it up over here. All this lumber you see is from that loft right there. And I've got a dumpster coming. So the dumpster should be here in a couple of days. And once the dumpster shows up, I'll toss all this lumber in there. But I'm down to the wood, down to the dirt floor, down to the ground, right? Yeah, as you can see there, down to the ground there. Same thing here. I'll get rid of all this old lumber. I'm down to the dirt there. And then once the dumpster's here, I'll pull up some more flooring. I gotta pull up all the flooring in there. And you can see here where the floor is pretty well rotted, and I'm going to save as many of these boards as I can, and I'll put those down once the slab goes down. This section's next. There used to be a wall across here. Well, originally this is where the animals went. Their horses or whatever they had. They were stored in here. You can see where they gnawed. Should be able to see that where they gnawed at the post there. So that's where they went originally, there and over here. And then this was converted into more or less a storage area. This was my workshop, which will probably still be the workshop, but I still have to clean out a lot of crap there. I've got whatever I still might need. Last minute stuff I'll pull out and store away somewhere when I have to. And I got to figure out what to do with all that oil and antifreeze, and I forget what else is there. I got to figure out what to do with all that stuff. So that's the project. You can see where our prior owner braced the barn all up to save it, but it's still moving. I think what it's doing is sinking into the ground. So once I have it jacked up, well, this barn was built right on the ground, just built on a few stones. So I guess the early settlers didn't realize that wood and dirt don't mix. So once I pour the slab, I'm going to pour some footings under it, and I'll get this barn up at least a foot off the ground, maybe 18 inches off the ground, and then pour the slab. And that should help preserve it for a long time. And then quick update on my Massey. I got the step from Mark, I hope I say the name right, Byro. This step is a very useful tool. I'm so happy I got that for a number of reasons. My knees are shot, my hips are shot. I was in a real bad accident, crushed between 3 cars about 9 years ago. And my legs just aren't the same, my knees aren't the same. And I'm only 5'5", so it's a struggle to get in and out of that tractor, even though it is low. But that's very helpful for me, so thanks, Mark. And if anybody needs something like that, I recommend ordering it from Mark. And there's my tooth bar. I've already used it. I got this from Heavy Hitch. I was tossed between the Piranha tooth bar and the Heavy Hitch, but the reason I went with the Heavy Hitch is I've got these fork tubes in the bottom corners of my loader, and they would interfere with the Piranha tooth bar bolting into the sides of the bucket. So I contacted Heavy Hitch, and they said they would fabricate a special length tooth bar for me. So that fits right between the fork tubes on my bucket, on my loader. And it's worked well. I've used it to rip up some of this floor here, and it was a beast. So that's enough for the tour. Sorry there's no gift shop unless you want some lumber, but be careful on your way out. I forgot to warn you on your way in. Be careful of the floor here. It's very uneven, and has holes and everything else. So watch your step as you exit.